Oh, good evening, guys, and welcome to this week's edition of Sisters of Legacy. Thank you so much for joining us. Hold tight, we'll be right back. All right, ladies, welcome this evening. How you ladies doing tonight?
Pretty good.
I'm good. Blessed and highly favored.
All right, guys. So, welcome to our viewers. We thank you guys for joining us. Um, yeah, I was slacking a little bit, so I don't have the title up. But our title for tonight is "Don't Be Afraid to Reset or Begin Again." Um, so, my motivation behind this topic is, sometimes you hear people or you talk to people, and they're like, oh, I wanted to do this, but so much time has passed, so I'm this age, and so, that was yesterday, or, this isn't working out, that isn't working out, and you're like, well, I'm just going to scrap that, and I'm going to do something else. Like it's never too late to start over. It's never too late to reset. Sometimes, a good reset can put you in a better space mentally, emotionally. So with the holidays coming, most of the time people just trying to get to the end of the year. You have those people that just want this year to be over. And then you have those people that are preparing, okay, I'm gonna start something new, excuse me, in the new year.
New Year's
But
resolutions.
right, the resolutions of things, that you may do 3 times and then you're done with it. But I wanted to have the conversation to say you don't have to start something new. You could take that old dream, turn it around, shake it off, dust it off, and restart it. Maybe it didn't work out in 2020. Maybe it didn't work out in 2021. 2022 might be the perfect time, to restart it, to to reset, to go back to the beginning and do it all over again. So I thought, what better time to talk about that than tonight? For us to help you kind of process it in your brain, maybe give you a few tips, talk you through it, support you through it. I don't know. The sisterhood is alive and well tonight. Shanetta, you can jump right in there.
So I have to say that I think this is the time of year where a lot of people do try to kind of come up with their plans, because we're all thinking about next year. We're at the end, we're in the holidays. So we're like, I didn't do this year. I didn't do that this year. So you're kind of that, it's at the forefront of our minds. Like, what am I going to do, to make myself better, or to kind of do this or do that, get this goal accomplished. I think it's all about goal setting and kind of seeing what your goals are and what you want to do. And I think a lot of times we get to the age where we start saying to ourselves, well, it's too late in life to do this. It's too late in life to do that. I'm too old. I'm too, I've been here too long. I might as well just stay and keep on doing what I'm doing. But I think that a good reset is good for any situation in life. Like job situation not working out for you, think about it, reset. Maybe it's something else that you're meant to be doing that you need to kind of start reconsidering. Even with kids and with getting your family life together, it could always be like, sometimes we don't feel super accomplished. Like we were talking the other day, I don't know what we were doing, but we saw something and we were looking at how this parent was like super supportive and extremely encouraging to their kids.
Okay.
And my husband and I looked at each other. We were like, man, we suck. And we really didn't. Like, we did good as parents.
Right.
But it was just kind of like, man, look at what we could have been doing. But
Right.
we were watching a movie. And we were like, oh my God, we suck as parents. So of course it was like, you know, if you have moments like that where you realize, hey, I'm not doing everything I could be doing, it's never too late to say, you know what, let me, you know, flip this thing around for my kids. Let me spend more time with them. Let me make more time for my family. So just creating, you know, the life that you want to have, but you have to do it by sometimes resetting from where you are right now and not being afraid to do that. And I think that's the big fear is what keeps us from doing a whole lot of things.
Right. Right. So Trina, I'm put you on the spot a little bit, just a little bit. So, you know, you spent how many years as a lawyer, an attorney?
Well, I'm still an attorney.
Well,
I'm still licensed.
Right. Okay.
I practiced for 20 years.
Right.
And
then you did a reset of sorts,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
Okay, what made you want to make that change?
I was just part of it was being burnt out, you know, just doing I didn't enjoy what I was doing too much anymore. Um I think a large part of it was the way um the job was structured, the industry I'm in is structured, and a lot of that is just a lot of bringing work home. There was no break between. There was no, oh, my day is over. There was
Okay.
never any, it's over. So I'd be in court all day, and then I come home and be prepping for the next day, dictating reports, and there was never when I leave here, my day is done. It was never any of that. And so for 20 years, and I think that's how the burnout happened.
Okay.
And so it was just way too much. I mean, there were some other things that factored in as well, but I needed to do something new. I couldn't take it no more.
So was there like a long period of time before you felt like I don't want to do this no more and you started your business, or was it kind of like, okay, I don't want to do this no more, so let me start putting this together so I can start my business?
There was a few years where I was just like, I got to do something else. And then that last probably year and a half is when I started making concrete plans. And I was, you know, preparing before I left my job. I was, you know, getting my license together and preparing down here and, you know, doing everything I needed to do. And that even just that preparation gave me the strength to get through that last kind of year and a half, because I knew I was doing something else, you know, to prepare my way to make that exit.
Okay. So you was your age or any of that, like, was that a concern of yours? Like, did you feel like I'm too old to start a whole nother career? Did you have any of those moments?
I didn't feel like I was too old. Part of what I think one of my concerns was that I had been doing it for so long.
Okay.
20 years is a long time to do something. And I'm just like, okay, can I do something else? You know, I've been doing this for so long. Like, am I able to, you know, start something new, you know, after doing something for so long? But again, my piece was hanging in the balance. So you know, that kind of weighed out.
Hey, Anthony, thanks for joining us. And I don't know what your name is, but hello to you as well. Thanks for popping in. Okay, and so you did that, became an entrepreneur. So, like, did that get you the piece that you were searching for, or you know that you felt like you were missing?
For the most part, I mean, there's certainly challenges with having my own business, But as far as that constant, you know, fear, not fear, but that constant like not having a break, um I feel like that's gone. I don't have so much pressure on me all the time.
Hey,
And yeah,
Lisa. Thanks for joining us. Okay, I'm getting these comments and I don't know how to block them. I don't know if you guys can you guys see them?
I saw the last one. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I don't know. So I'm sorry. You guys just try to ignore it because I don't know how to block it. Um,
Which platform is it coming from?
you know what? You're right. Let me just maybe I could just remove that, turn that off. Uh-oh. Let's see. Oh, I don't know what I just did. Okay.
wow.
Let's hope that works.
Wow.
Yeah. So I think it's important, that we do kind of conquer our fears. Part of resetting, part of starting again is part of it is conquering your fears, and then I think some of it is not giving up on yourself. Like,
Yeah.
you if you can quit a job, you can quit a relationship, you can quit a marriage, you can quit friends and all that stuff. But I think it's important that we don't quit ourselves. Like, you don't give up on yourself. It's never too late. You're never too old. As long as you're breathing, there's always an opportunity to go after it, whatever your it is. And for Trina, it was to become an entrepreneur. Um, for you, it could be anything. And I think that's important. Like, for me, I had to remind myself that daily. Like, don't don't give up on me. Like, keep doing, because sometimes you're doing things and it don't work out like you got it in your head.
Right.
Like, in your mind, you're like, this was going better in my head than it actually looks in front of you. And, to be able to just talk yourself through those moments and kind of rebound is extremely um important. So, Trina, what advice would you give somebody that wanted to stop making that face? That might want to change or start something new, or like you said, walk away from, and I know you're still licensed, but not be active in something that they've been doing for a long time. What would be your advice?
Um Plan. Take your time, do your research, and take the time to plan, um you know get educated in where you're trying to go, um talk to people who've done it before, um and just kind of get what their experience is, and just try to learn as much as you can beforehand. If it's a business, learn about running businesses, learn about, tax consequences, those little things you can do to, help your day to day run smooth. Yeah.
Okay. Shanetta, so have you ever had to reset? I mean, I know you spent a time going from being a stay-at-home mom to going back out into the world.
Yeah, I have. So that was definitely a reset. Because there wasn't really a plan with me being a stay-at-home mom. The years that I was stay at home, I had my job, I was teaching. Way back in the late 90s, I was teaching, and then with my baby, I was just kind of like, I think I want to stay home with him. Not to mention that everything that I was making at that time, my entire income would have gone to childcare.
Right.
So it was kind of like worth the stay at home because everything would have gone to childcare. So that was kind of like one of the things that like we kind of weighed out, thought about, and I did it for several years and was cool with that. And then after a while it was kind of like, okay, I kind of want to reset and kind of do something different. And I went back to work. I went back into teaching for I guess a few years. and then realized that I didn't want to be in the classroom. So I then transitioned from being out of the classroom to working in administration. Went from administration to working for the state, and stayed with the state for almost 10 years.
Okay.
And then had a huge reset and left working for the state, and then went back into not necessarily the classroom, but went back inside of administration for childcare programs, and literally stayed there. And like the whole time, that whole process was like a huge couple of years of resetting, because during that time I was really trying to figure out my exact path. And it was like I had this one position, and I remember, I think it was my husband, he asked me, he was like, you see yourself being there? Like, are you happy there? And I was like, I'm good. Like, I'm okay. I like it. And it was never really just that feeling of, yes, I'm going to be here. Right. And then I transitioned to having my own business after that. I'm like, what did I do after that? After that, I transitioned into opening up a childcare program, and we were actually in a building, and that transition was like, woo, like when Trina was talking about, plan, prepare, like have everything in order. I was just kind of nodding because I was thinking about that experience, and we did that for a little while, and the biggest hurdle in that situation was finances. And it was just kind of like the entire time we were doing it, I never got paid. So it was almost like I was volunteering, but I owned everything, and that was not fun. That didn't really work out very well for me. So we made some moves, some things happened, and then I had a huge reset again after that. So that particular time, I decided that my new transition was actually going to be back to the classroom, but in a different way. So instead of with the younger kids, which is where most of my career had been, working with younger kids, like 5th grade and below, I decided I wanted to jump a whole level.
Okay.
And I decided I wanted to do middle school. Just out the blue, just, wake up one morning and be like, oh, I think I'll be a middle school teacher. And I did. And it has been, I think, the best transition and reset that I have made thus far. I like them. I like them because it's with little people, you kind of really have to you have to take care of them. You have to baby them. You have to do all these things with them. But with my middle schoolers, I do baby them, but it's like a different kind of babying. And I can just kind of talk to them and be like, listen, this is what you need to know. You got to get it together, get your whole life together. And like, we're good. So like, that's been a good transition for me. But yes, I've had several resets throughout time, and not even to mention the journeys of like, oh, I'm going to go back to school in between all of that other stuff that I just talked about. So I don't think it's impossible to do anything, and you can't be afraid to try something and see if it's going to work for you. And if it doesn't work, that's okay. And it's okay to say, oh, that didn't work. Let's do something else, and to do that something else. But just having the nerve to do it.
Okay. Hey, Richard, Merry Christmas. Thanks for joining us. So, like, with the different resets you had, like, have you ever felt like, I don't know, you're not doing enough, or, how sometimes, like, we're scared to do something else because we feel like there's going to be a level of judgment in it, or that type of thing? Have you ever had those kinds of feelings?
I would have to say yes. For me, definitely. Not that I really was driven by everything or opinions that other people necessarily had, but sometimes, you still feel it, even though it's not what's driving you, it's not what's moving you, it's not what's motivating you to do what you do. You feel the judgment, and you might even hear it depending on who you're talking to, because some people are just going to tell you, what are you doing? Like, get your life together. People say all kinds of stuff to you and don't really know how what they're saying can impact you and impact the
Right.
decisions that you're making. For me, I've always tried to be a cheerleader and a supporter for anybody that says, oh, I'm going to try this or I'm going to do that. If you tell me you're going back to school, I'm like, how many composition notebooks do you need me to go get for you? Like, let me support you. Do you need some pencils? Because I got extra pencils at my house. Like, what do
Right.
you need? And I kind of try to be that person. Whereas another person, you would tell them, oh, I'm going to go back to school, at 45. I want to get another
Right.
degree. And they'd be like, child, you too old for that. Don't you think, they just come up with all, and you're just like, well, maybe I am. Maybe it is
Right.
too late. Because of what people say. And then they've forgotten that they even said it to you.
Yep.
Completely discouraged you. Gone on about their very little way, and you still sitting at home contemplating, well, maybe I am too old to do this.
Right.
So I think it's important that even as people, when people come to you with their new and fresh ideas for their resets in life, that we learn how to encourage others to pursue, maybe even talk to them about what it takes to do that and give them, realistic plans. So if somebody says to me, I want to go back to school, have you started looking into your schools? Have you started looking into how you want to go to school? Do you want to go in the building? Do you want to go online? Like, how do you want to do this? Because there are so many options versus, just being discouraging to someone.
Right.
So I think you do face that challenge of, wondering what people think about what you're doing and the decision that you're making. But at a certain point, when it's all about benefiting yourself, you have to learn how to turn that off and tune that out,
Right.
and kind of focus on the goal that you're setting.
Right. So Trina, your perspective is a little different as you're a single parent. How did that affect your decision, to start something new? Was there do you think that added an extra layer of apprehension? Because it's like, I got these kids by myself, being a single mom, do you think that added anything to it or?
I think so. But I also feel like they knew how much I needed to. They saw how stressed I was, so they were two of my biggest supporters when they were like, "Please do something. We want you to be happy." But I certainly considered, like financially, but I had to kind of balance everything out. And I even looking back, I feel like I should have done more planning, more. I mean, I guess there's no perfect time to make moves, but I feel like I should have kind of did more planning or whatever. But I don't know. I always feel like everything is on me, regardless. Like I never feel like I really have, somebody to fall back on. So either way, it was going to be, no matter what I did, it's going to be, me stepping out, leaning independent on the Lord, either way, but I will say, like, if someone is thinking about making a change or, in that place where you're assessing or reassessing where you are or what you're about to do, I would encourage you to, kind of look forward, because when you're looking back, sometimes, you get discouraged because maybe you had a plan and you didn't do A, B, and C. But sometimes just surviving the last year or 2 years, you got to give yourself credit for that. Like, pat yourself on the back. I'm still here. I survived. I made it. We in December, you know what I mean? Like, sometimes we, look back and feel discouraged because we didn't do A, B, and C. And I think we have to kind of give ourselves credit for, especially during this pandemic and especially during these times. Don't get so down on yourself. Look forward and say, okay, I survived. Now what I'm doing, what am I going to do next? Because, we've just been through a lot. You know, all of us. And so sometimes we just have to encourage ourselves and say, listen, I survived, and so now what I'm, I'm going to move forward, and what am I going to do next?
Right.
Right. I mean, I totally agree. I think, statistically, even as people of color, pre-pandemic, we always seem to have more of a load than other ethnicities. So then, starting with already carrying the load of being a quote unquote minority, then to go into the pandemic and now possibly coming out of it. And I say possibly because every time I look, there's something else going on. So, to be at a point where we're possibly coming out of it, I think, like you said, Trina, all of us should be patting ourselves on our backs. Like, for the people that lost your jobs and you had to get on unemployment, like that was a strain. Like I know, the news say this and people say, oh, people don't want to work and you didn't want to work. Like you have to block all that stuff out. Like concentrate on what you did. Like you kept your family afloat, the best way you could in a difficult time.
Right.
And I think, we don't always give ourselves credit for what we do right. Like I know, like I can cook 12 dishes, right? And let me mess up one of the 12 and it will send me into a spin. Like, I will focus more on what I didn't do right or perfect than I will focus on all that I've done. Yeah. So I think, it's a bad habit. It's a habit that we pick up, just trying to get everything right. I don't know if it's pressure that other people put on you or pressure you put on yourself, just always trying to get everything right. But I think we definitely have to celebrate the small victories. Like you said, we made it to December. We made it this far through this pandemic. And I know, like, for me, for a while, like, that was my only accomplishment. Like, I felt like, okay, listen, these kids are still alive. Through this pandemic, I haven't killed anybody. I didn't, they haven't starved. Like we've made it this far, and celebrate. Celebrate the small things because if not, you'll always find reasons to be down on yourself. The holidays are rough for people for several reasons. Sometimes you feel like you don't have enough. Sometimes you feel like, you don't have enough family. You don't have enough money. You don't have enough time. If you like me and today is December 14th and you have bought not one Christmas gift, it's okay. It is okay. You got 11 days.
11 whole days.
11 whole days. Look, God created the whole world in 7. So
you said a whole word right there.
Ain't no telling what you can do in 11. Listen, don't beat yourself up. Get out there and come up with a plan and make it happen. But in all seriousness, like you really have to kind of just take things in stride. Like don't give up. Celebrate yourself. Sometimes nobody else will. Sometimes what you feel is an accomplishment, nobody else will feel like it's an accomplishment. So you celebrate yourself. And if your goal was whatever it was, when you hit that little goal, you celebrate you. Find the things that are important and celebrate those things for yourself. Oftentimes we don't spend enough time encouraging each other, and it's crazy because I notice sometimes the more I encourage other people, then somebody else, maybe not the same person that I'm encouraging, somebody else, I'd be like, oh, that's great that you did this. Oh, you're so helpful, or you're so this. Sometimes we look for things in one space. We look for stuff to come one way. Be open to the possibilities. Don't be scared to go back to the beginning. Because in a minute, I'll be like, okay, nope. I'm gonna scrap this and I need to start all over. I always say we only have one life. Yeah, but you can make it count. It's yours. Make it count. do what's important to you. I think it's so important that we don't forget, um, the beauty that's within us. Especially women, we take on so much sometimes, and we try to do so much. And when things don't go right, we take on the responsibility of that. And sometimes, when somebody don't do their part, we take on that responsibility. We try to shoulder everything, and we can't.
Everything.
We can't.
Yeah.
Focus on the things you can control. Everything else, you kind of have to put it down. But I will say, resetting, it is scary. Like, I had been married for 19 years, and then after the sign of a paper, I was no longer married with 2 kids under 5. And, it's like at that point it's sink or swim. That, like, that's kind of what I told myself. Either I'm going to sink or I'm going to swim. You think, like, what is that Finding Dory? Just keep swimming, keep swimming. Like, listen, tell yourself that. Just keep swimming. It don't matter. Sometimes you may not even know what you're swimming toward, but just keep going, keep pushing. The possibilities are endless. Really, I just wanted to encourage people, like, it's never too late. Not too much time has passed. I mean, I was divorced for 3 years. I promise you, Katrina can tell you from the time we talked, like, there was nothing in my mind that told me I was going to get married again, especially not to him. For a while, I didn't know if I wanted to marry anybody, but I was sure that it would not be Anthony Walker. So you never know, what lies on the other side of a reset, of starting again.
Yeah.
And that one decision could open up so many possibilities. So don't be afraid. And even if you're afraid, it's okay to do it and be afraid.
Mhm.
Like, making a decision don't mean you're not scared. Like,
Right.
a lot of times, you making a decision and you scared. You making it like this. Cause, like, oh, I don't know what's gonna happen, but I'm gonna do it anyway.
Right.
So that's the message. Do it anyway. Reset. Find you a partner, find you a friend, somebody, that's willing to say, go girl, you got this. Even in, the smallest ways. Like, there's somebody that's willing to help you push through it. Hey, listen, we'll be your people. Text
I was
us.
going to say, I'll do it.
Right.
I will be your cheerleader. I can.
Yeah, listen, this one is full of energy. She'll be a cheerleader,
I will
text you at 7 in the morning, all of that. So,
all of it.
so listen, you never know where encouragement may come from. Don't be, well, you can be scared. It's all right to be scared. It's all right to be scared. I'm not even gonna say don't be scared, because then you're waiting for that moment when you're not scared. The reality is you're gonna be scared a lot of the times, but do it anyway. Do it anyway. Take the chance, leap, jump, run, all of that. Like I said, the possibilities are endless. So we want to encourage you guys this holiday season. January is coming. For those of y'all that do the resolutions, get to writing. Whatever y'all do, write them out, say them. It's a good time to start again. The pandemic is prayerfully coming to a close. 2022 could be your year, but you'll never know if you don't take the chance. So hit that reset button and go for it.
Yeah.
Ladies, did you want to add anything?
I think that was awesome.
All right. So we are on every Tuesday at 8:30 p.m. We won't be on next week, I don't believe. So the next time you should see us will be in January of 2022. So until then, enjoy your holidays, enjoy your families, fruit cake, whatever it is that you like about this season, enjoy it and bring in the new year with a new mindset, ready to do it and do it big. So until then, guys, be safe.